hello. It's so nice to finally meet you in person after our correspondence. I want to thank you first and foremost for choosing Post-Nuclear Realty for your housing needs today. Many people these days think that they can simply camp out in any abandoned super-duper mart, this or that, and call it a home. But we here at Nuclear Realty believe that a home is far more than a roof over your head, and we do our best to ensure that every home we offer is a safe, well-supplied, and comfortable residence for our clients. Oh, and pardon me, I'm still in my wasteland armor. Please close your eyes for a moment and I'll change into something more appropriate. Alright, you can open them, thank you. I do like to look the part when I show homes. There's something incongruous to me about looking like a common wastelander while trying to match my clients up with their dream homes. But enough preamble. Why don't we make our way to our first home here in the town of Megaton? We are in a relatively safe area of the Capital Wasteland, but the Megaton region does have its fair share of common mutated beasts like that giant ant there. Low-level threats like this are easily dispatched by Megaton's guards. Here we have a trade caravan. Megaton sprouted up primarily as a trading hub, and while it is no longer the central marketplace that it once was, the caravans do still make frequent visits to the town, so you should never have concerns with supplies. And here we have Megaton's remarkable gate, a turbine-powered barrier constructed from as much of Megaton is the wreckage of old-world planes. Up above we have Megaton's resident sharpshooter, a man named Stockholm, who watches the wasteland for approaching threats. And here we have Deputy Weld, one of Megaton's 2 resident defensive robots. The sheriff of Megaton purchased Deputy Weld from the traveling robotics salesman Tinker Joe, if you have ever encountered him in your travels. He spends a lot of his time around the Robco factory. So, here at Post-Nuclear Realty, I strive for my clients to have full confidence when making any purchasing decision. And to that end, I like to give tours of the communities in which I'm showing homes to help you know for sure if the neighborhood would be right for you. So, decades back, near 100 years or more. This was nothing more than a crater in the ground that some desperate wastelanders would take shelter in to hide from dust storms. Eventually, that group of people built a town, and when raiders and super mutants were eventually attracted to this town, they built the walls here, harvesting the plains from a nearby airfield for the raw materials. And now it's as near as safe as you can get in the wasteland, alongside Rivet City or the Brotherhood of Steel Citadel. Here we have the town's main restaurant, the Brass Lantern. It's run by the three Stahl siblings, Andy, Leo, and Jenny. They're sweet kids. Lost their parents when they were young, but they turned out all right. I know the town is built from scrap, but it cuts a bit of a striking figure, in my opinion. We have a Brahmin here. The town primarily subsists on trade, but there are some ranching elements. Now I suppose we should mention the elephant in the room. An elephant which in this case is the explosive force of 1 million tons of trinitrotoluene packed into that bomb there in the center of town. Now, I wouldn't blame you if an unexploded nuclear weapon, a stone's throw from your front porch, was a deal breaker. But most people these days really do think the bomb is harmless. After all, it hasn't gone off in 200 years. It's probably a dud. Now, people have talked about moving it, but if you noticed that fellow in the pool of irradiated water, he's the priest of the children of the atom, a church here in Megaton that actually worships the bomb. The town and the church folk normally get along fine, but messing with the church's sacred object would cause real trouble, so people have mostly just learned to tolerate the bomb. I've stayed in Megaton plenty of times, and honestly, in my personal experience, after a couple of days, you sort of just forget the things there. And in case you're put off by the children of the atom, I'll just say that I've encountered many cults in my day. Back when I was selling houses out west, I ran into a particularly nasty outfit. The Children of the Cathedral, they call themselves. Now they seemed alright on the outside, real friendly, but as it turns out they were mixed up in that whole unity thing. So, all I'm saying is, these bomb worshippers, as far as cults go, they're not so bad. So, back on the rim of the crater here, I'll show you up to the front door of Moriarty's saloon. I've mentioned the sheriff already, Lucas Sims, but Colin Moriarty is the other big dog Moriarty is a snake. My advice to you is never to get in debt to him. Never let him have any power over you. But still, if you're into booze, chems, women, or gambling, you can get all four in his saloon. His bartender is a ghoul named Gob. And if you do visit, I'd ask you to be nice to the guy. Most people around here treat him as their personal punching bag. We just passed the public restroom for men. The women's is on the other side of town. And here we have the local general store, Craterside Supply, which is run by a woman named Moira Brown. Moira is pretty handy at repairs, so useful for keeping your gear in shape. She's a bit quirky, a bit impractical in some ways, but very curious about the world and has real nice ambitions about writing a book that will help people survive out in the wasteland. And we can pass the clinic here on the right and walk to your, speaking of the sheriff, there he goes. Sims is a bit of a zealous man in his law enforcement duties, but he's a good guy, and he's got the best intentions for the town. You can trust him. There's the Church of the Children of Adam, who, as I mentioned before, they worship the bomb. They believe something or other about nuclear explosions creating universes. It's all a little hooey-dooey for me. But let's show you to your potential home. So you have a nice vantage point. You are up high near the rim of the crater. Keep you out of the stale air that tends to accumulate lower down. And it's just up here on the left. Now, you might at first glance feel that the house is perhaps a little unstable on its supports, but I promise you the structure is completely sound. There is no danger of collapse. It looks a little precarious, but it is completely safe. This house has been here for years with no issues. Now, while this is technically a public walkway area here, I like to think of it a little bit as your porch, with a nice little private seating area there. And just down below you is the brass lantern if you ever get hungry and don't feel like cooking for yourself. But with all that said, and with hopefully a the home comes with some substantial amenities, most remarkably being this functional Mr. Handy unit. This model's name is Wadsworth. As your personal robotic butler, he can cut your hair, provide refreshments, tell you jokes. Here's a charming piece, a display shelf for Vault Tech bobbleheads. A bit of a unique collector's item. These bobbleheads are quite a rare relic of the old world, and actually quite valuable. We have a workbench here. Of course, in our modern world, where everything is a day or two from breaking down, we all need to have some basic handyman skills. We have a small kitchenette here with a refrigerator and a functional sink. I know the shelves are a little barren right now, but we can do something about that before you move in. You can see this home is quite spacious. We have a second floor room here with a door. You could use this as a guest bedroom, use it for storage, or a den, whatever you like. And here we have the bedroom and office. This is how we've arranged the furniture, but of course you can move things around as you like. Here we have a very lovely, functional jukebox, which we've refitted into a radio tuned into the local Galaxy News radio station. So if you ever want Three Dog to update you on the goings-on in the wasteland, you're all set. We also have a very functional Nuka-Cola machine with functioning refrigerant, so you can be provided with ice-cold Nuka-Cola. But the house is a bit sterile, isn't it? Every home needs some decoration to bring it to life. And I'm happy to say that we provide that service for you. So let me show you through some of our themes that we have, some preset decorative themes. This first theme is themed around the Vault Tech fallout shelters. We have scavenged many pieces from those vaults, and we have relocated them here. So if you've always wondered what it would be like to live in one of those miraculous little structures, this theme will give you a nice taste of it. Now, these vaults tend to be loaded with old world foodstuffs. So here we've arranged some various boxes of that. Blamco mac and cheese, Graham, Dandy Boy apples, Fancy Lad snack cakes, Instamash, pork and beans, Salisbury steaks, sugar bombs, which are my personal favorite. mention that if you wish to have one of these pre-made themes installed in your home, it's only 1,500 additional caps, so a very modest price to have your decoration taken care of for you. Vault Deck, revolutionizing safety for an uncertain future. This theme goes very nicely with the bobbleheads down there. Now, if this theme isn't speaking to you, or if you are simply interested in seeing some other options, well, tell you what, why don't we just show you all of the theme options, and then you can decide. This next option, it might be a little shocking at first. However, I've been selling homes across the wastelands of America for many years now, and many of my clients have been former raiders who have finally earned enough caps to leave their violent life behind. However, they often miss the sadism of their youth and want some decor that reflects their glory days. So this is our Raider theme. It comes with a wide variety of murderous accoutrements and bloody decorations. Various inhumane implements of torture, cages here to inflict humiliation and suffering on your prisoners, and of course a collection of bloody viscera, bones, and all sorts of rotting, dismembered body parts. If you are a former raider, you will no doubt feel right at home. The shelves here are stocked with food as before, but we've also added some alcohol, some whiskey, and of course some more dismembered body parts, bloody skulls and the like. Very tastefully placed streaks of blood on the wall, graffiti, all the artistic aspects that raiders indulge in when decorating their bases. And I'm quite confident that these corpses were obtained ethically. I have instructed my assistants to only collect corpses that they find in the wastes already dead. And of course, they're also welcome to use the bodies of slavers, raiders, and whomever else might attack them first. I did have an issue with an assistant who was kidnapping and murdering ranchers of Brahmin, but I did let that assistant go, as I don't condone that behavior. In fact, that assistant's body is the very one that you see hanging over your living room just there. So they have provided value to my business, even in death. This next theme here is for the true wasteland explorer who's come to feel at home in ruined buildings, digging through old fridges in Red Rocket gas stations, Super Duper Marts, and the like. We've constructed this theme to use posters, furniture, and all sorts of other decorations scavenged from the wasteland. Many wastelanders and scavengers, once they are able to finally put down roots in a home, as they do miss the sun-baked wasteland and yearn for some of the freedom that they experienced back then. It's my hope with this theme to give a little reminder of those days. With this poster, for instance, these advertisements are very commonly scattered across the wasteland. This Super Duper Mart hiring poster, also a very common sight. We've turned this side room into a small mechanics area if you have any desire to work on this old world motorcycle. And of course, even if you don't, it's a very nice display piece. We have the shelves stocked with glasses. If you're ever entertaining, we have plenty of extra utensils, cups, and so on. The bed is very comfortingly overlooked by this costume poster. Freddy Fear's House of Scares. If you have any children, I'm sure they would enjoy looking at those old costumes. I think this is a great choice for a family. We have a large poster here advertising the Metro line of Washington, D.C. Next up, we have a home themed for intellectuals, scientists, professors, and the like. This theme is chock-a-block with consoles, monitoring devices, scientific equipment, and blackboards for recording your findings, writing mathematical equations, and so on. The kitchen is fairly standard, but we have allowed some of the scientific equipment to be stored there. Here we can see microscopes, hot plates, test tubes, a bone saw if you're inclined more to the biological angle of research. We'll perhaps be conducting autopsies and the like. Another blackboard. We have a very nice piece here, a microfiche machine. In case you're ever studying some old world microfiche records, it would be very useful. we earn here for those late nights of research when you need a little pick-me-up to keep going. Out here on the second floor balcony, we do have some more consoles, so the theme is very cohesive. And next up, I'm very proud of this theme. This is for lovers of the old world. Those historically minded folks who want nothing more than to step into one of these posters on the wall and return to the year 2077. I scrounged the wasteland for the best preserved furniture, rugs, electronic equipment, and so on, to really make it feel like you have transported yourself back in time. In addition to some ordinary cups and drinking glasses, we've provided a collection of Nuka-Cola bottles. After all, with how popular the beverage was at the time, what could be more authentic than drinking your purified water dispensed by your Mr. Handy Robot from a Nuka-Cola glass? We have a Radiation King television set, used to be used for keeping up with the news of the day. Now, of course, there are no broadcasts for it to pick up. I'm very proud of the quality of the old world relics that we've secured. You'd be hard-pressed, for instance, to find any couch as clean as that one. In your office, currently occupied by Wadsworth, we have a typewriter. Back in the old world, people used to spend hours at that machine, typing and typing and typing. And now you can live as they once did. Now our final option of theme is absolutely perfect if you consider yourself a lovebird. Let's check it out. And with only a few lamps and velvet sheets, this home has been transformed into a den of sexual debauchery. Your lucky partner, or should I say partners, will find their lives changed after a night in this love shack. And the things happening in here will be more explosive than anything that bomb outside could ever hope to achieve. Along with the obvious bed, which is very romantic, we also have a variety of clothing options provided. In case you and your partner are interested in playing some various roles. We've also provided a fair amount of alcohol, as of course that always gets things lubricated. never recommend overindulging in chems. But I have heard that when making the beast with two backs, as they say, a little inhalation of jet slows all the right moments down. We have your office here and a bed primarily for sleeping. Of course, the other bed might not be seen so much rest on it. And this is the pièce de résistance of this theme. This absolutely tasteful lamp art is highly unique. Only a handful were ever produced, and most have been destroyed or rendered non-functional. And here we are. I have secured one for your home. So I hope that tour helped you decide if Megaton is right for you. The home is on the market for 5,000 caps, and as I mentioned, if you choose to go with one of our pre-made decorative themes, that will be an additional 1,500 caps. But before you decide, I have another home available if you'd like to see it. It's a bit higher class if Megaton is too plebeian for you. As you can see here, we are looking at Tenpenny Tower, a preserved relic of old world luxury, refurbished by its new owner, the eccentric British immigrant Alistair Tenpenny. Once a hotel and resort in the old world, this tower now serves as the permanent home for scores of wealthy residents who desired a bit more luxury than other settlements like Rivet City or Megaton could offer. But in our nuclear world, one consideration supersedes all others, of course, and that is safety. And let me assure you of Tenpenny Tower's absolute security. This is the only entrance here through this powered security gate. And the structure is otherwise ringed by concrete and rebar. This intercom can buzz you entrance from the security guard who stands watch at the gate 24 hours a day. And these guards are no slouches. They were previously a successful mercenary company, but they've been hired by Tenpenny as a permanent security detail for his hotel. If you have any doubts about their competency, one conversation with Chief Gustavo should allay your concerns. He is not a frivolous man. Here we have a small outdoor seating area if you need some fresh air while still remaining within the safety of the walls. The tower is ringed by trees for a bit of a natural touch. We have some training grounds out back here. Residents are not typically allowed in this area, but just for the tour. The mercenaries conduct target practice back here. to the tower's generator room. Tenpenny Tower actually siphons energy from the metro grid underground, allowing for the plentiful electricity that the tower makes use of. Another one of Tenpenny's luxuries. If you noticed the buttressing of the tower by those girders and plates, the tower is very structurally stable, but those were added for just a bit of extra security and fortification. Circling back around to the front of the tower here, we have the barracks for the security team. Chief Gustavo insists that his soldiers live apart from the residents of the tower for discipline purposes. But let's head inside and I'll show you around the tower, and then I'll lead you up to your potential new home. And here we are, the luxurious interior of Tenpenny Tower. Equipped with functional lighting, refrigeration, plumbing, and speaker systems, Tenpenny Tower is unmatched, in my opinion, in the Capital Wasteland when it comes to old world amenities. I mean, just admire these incredible chandeliers. You'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else, I think, in the entire country that rivals the luxury of Tenpenny Tower. This is Chief Gustavo here. A fairly gruff, no-nonsense man. And off to the left here we have two of the tower's businesses. First we have the Café Beau Monde here, the tower's restaurant, which is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. You can source your own foodstuffs if you like, but many residents take the majority of their meals here. The cafe is operated by a lovely woman named Margaret Primrose, and she does a fine job. As with all culinarians in our modern world, she does the best she can in imperfect circumstances. But that just encourages creativity, doesn't it? There's plenty of tables, so you shouldn't have trouble finding seating, even during rush times. And crossing the hall here, we have Boutique Le Chic, a general goods store run by the fashionable Lydia Montenegro. If you need spare food, supplies, even some weaponry, or to furnish your home with additional decor, she's the one to talk to. Here she is, slapping at some flies. It's unusual for Tenpenny Tower. Perhaps they're having a minor bug infestation, but that's not typical. We can see some of Miss Montenegro's generous offerings here. Lots of old world food, and then some general supplies. Toolbox, a terminal, some more Radiation King televisions, fans, coffee mugs, so on and so on. Now, if you're concerned about medical care, the tower has a wellness center here, just to the left of the staircase. It's run by the very academically minded Dr. Banfield. If you ever find yourself irradiated, injured, or addicted to drugs, Dr. Banfield can help you, assuming you have the caps to pay. All of the residents of Tenpenny Tower, I should mention, are quite well off, as Tenpenny does charge them to live here. As part of my deal with Mr. Tenpenny to sell his available penthouse suite, I was able to make the purchase a one-time deal for you. You will not have to pay rent. But of course, if you are partaking of these various services in the tower, that will cost you a handful of caps. But let's explore the, Mr. Dashwood here is walking with his shotgun in his hand. Perhaps you've heard the radio drama based on his life on Galaxy News Radio. Here we have new urban apparel run by the rather flirtatious Anthony Ling, let's put it that way. Be careful with this man. His solution to all of your problems is to buy more clothes, and he'll empty your pockets of caps if you give him the chance. That being said, he has about as extensive a collection of old world clothing as I've ever seen. Here we have the Federalist Lounge. The lounge here is run by a Protectron bartender named Shakes, and the lounge is open at all hours of the day. It has a pool table, a jukebox, and many of the residents enjoy spending their time here for recreation. Shakes here sells liquor, but shelves of snacks are available for residents as well, in case you catch a midnight craving. A large coffee urn also stands ready with clean mugs for coffee. So, if you live here, I imagine making use of the Federalist Lounge would be one of the better perks, in my opinion. Here we have the restrooms in the building. Of course, the plumbing and other functional utilities in the tower are very luxurious. Now, I'll take you up to your room in a moment, but I'll give you a brief look at the ordinary housing in Tenpenny Tower. The We have a collection of rooms just above the lobby here. And just straight ahead here through this door, we will find the stairs that lead us up through the rest of the tower. This is where the majority of Tenpenny Tower's residents live. Now, you would not be living here. As I mentioned, the room that I have for sale is a suite. It is nice and spacious, but it's also specially located at the top of the tower, accessible only by the express elevator located behind the security desk in the lobby. There is a nuclear machine and an electronic dispenser on these floors as well, so if you do happen to go to the Federalist Lounge late at night, most of your neighbors would probably be taking their snacks from the stocked machines on their particular floor, which I say only because you'll probably have the Federalist Lounge to yourself. It won't be super busy. And with that shown off, why don't we head back downstairs and take the elevator up for the last stage of our tour. Now, Chief Gustavo will only allow those with rooms in the suites to actually travel up the elevators as a matter of course, unless they have some specific business. This is Mr. Tenpenny's room. He is quite reclusive. In fact, the residents rarely see him at all. He has his meals delivered up to his room. I believe every day he enjoys an iguana bits sandwich and I believe a pear. If I remember correctly, it's somewhat infamous amongst the residents. But this is your door here. And here we have what could be your new home. As with the Megaton option, I'm showing you the bare room first, which you can purchase for 5,000 caps. It'll come with largely the same amenities as we saw previously, including the bobblehead collection, the jukebox, the pristine Coca-Cola machine, the workbench, the chemistry set, and the infirmary. It also comes with its own Mr. Handy unit. This one's name is Godfrey. He is similarly equipped to Wadsworth, capable of telling jokes, dispensing purified water, giving you a haircut, and other household tasks. The room is somewhat cozy, but still expensive enough that you could have a bit of privacy if you are planning on cohabitating with a partner. This room also comes with a safe, very popular in hotel rooms back in the day, so you can lock up your valuables. And this is perhaps the crowning aspect of this room. This is your balcony. From the top floor of this tower, you can scan the Capital Wasteland in all directions. You can mark Megaton to the north, and of course the ruins of Washington, D.C. to the east. Mr. Tenpenny does spend much of his time on the balcony, and he does have a habit of firing his sniper rifle at wandering people or creatures on the ground below. He calls it a wasteland safari. Despite this minor disturbance, you should find the balcony a very relaxing and generally private space. Now, let's go back to the pre-made decorative themes. They're all going to be similar to what we saw in Megaton, but modified to fit the unique requirements and specifications of this room. So first we have this Vault Tech theme. I scavenged this piece from nearby Vault 101. It reads, "I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely." Revelation 21:6. A lovely passage from an old world book. Much of our Vault Tech decor is recovered from destroyed vaults. Vaults that have been inhabited by raiders or super mutants, various mutated creatures. And these pieces typically require a lot of cleaning and repair to be useful for decorating. Fortunately, Vault 101 was in good shape when they opened their doors, so the pieces recovered from there have been quite pristine. We have the infirmary here, and I'll show you a piece that I'm particularly proud of, or delighted by, I suppose. These signage pieces, these come straight from the vaults. We have an upper level sign here to indicate the balcony, which I think is just wonderfully clever. And an apartment sign here to signify you're returning to Tenpenny Tower proper. But let's go ahead and move on. Next we have our Raider theme again. I'm particularly impressed with the work of my decorator this time. The brutal use of the meat hooks, the spattered blood just gives the room a visceral liveliness that I think matches the theme so nicely. This trail of blood here on the ground, it just tells a wonderful story, doesn't it? suspended over the bed, allowing the old blood to drip onto the nice white sheets. A lovely touch. I love the contrast of the grill here. It invokes a pleasant afternoon spent with the family, which, cast alongside the violence of the rest of the theme, is just a very nice contrast. We, of course, have the balcony, which we're not decorating the balcony with these themes just because we don't want to upset Mr. Tenpenny. But that is our Raider theme. Very nice. And now we return to our Wasteland Explorer themed. We're making very nice use of some old world signage here. These signs were placed alongside roads. It's all very artfully sun-bleached and weathered by dust and wind and bullets. We again make use of this wooden picnic bench, which I think makes this theme perfect for hosting guests, entertaining. These Brahmin bones are a lovely centerpiece, don't you think? The expansiveness of that table, the size of it. If you are planning on having guests, I do think this is quite a good option. Of course, we make use of these scavenged posters as well. I'm particularly a fan, of this Giddy Up Buttercup sign here. Only $16,000. Presumably quite affordable back in the old world. And we would make use of this motorcycle here as well. Oh, and as I mentioned, I'm a great fan of sugar bombs, so I enjoy this sign particularly. That boy is making the exact face I make when I see a box of sugar bombs while I'm scavenging. And another clever use of old world signage here, we have a scenic overlook sign leading to our balcony. Next up, we have our science-themed decor. In Tenpenny Tower here, we chose to particularly lean in the medical direction with this one. We have many of the same pieces from Megaton, but we have also introduced these X-ray scans on lighted boards on the walls. So if you are a doctor, a biologist, or anybody with an interest in the body in that way, I think this theme will be particularly appropriate for you. I like to think that it creates a lovely fusion of clinical and comforting. We also should you wish to expand your knowledge. In the center of the room, we have a desk with a typewriter for you to draft your scientific findings in preparation for publishing, sharing with your colleagues. We have a very nice cushioned antique chair there, which will serve you well for hours and hours of typing. And that largely covers the new unique elements that we have in this science theme today. As before, we've made use of your shelving space for plenty of scientific equipment, along with some scrap metal and other engineering supplies in case your interests lead you in that direction. Some more X-ray scans here on the light boards. Very fascinating stuff, this old world technology, allowing you to peer inside of a body. And I think that will take us on to our old world theme again. I'm particularly fond of this one. It suits our space in Tenpenny Tower very nicely, and we've introduced a couple of unique pieces that really set this decor apart. We have some toys here, a dollhouse and a car, creating a very homey atmosphere. This whole theme really harkens back to the old days of coming home, seeing your children playing with toys, the dog in the front yard, which we'll go take a look at in a moment. We have a lovely Nuka-Cola clock here, non-functional, but a lovely display piece, along with our Nuka-Cola lamp. Back in the day, they just loved Nuka-Cola, and who could blame them? Even in our world, it's about the most delicious thing you can get your hands on. A lovely painting suspended above the bed, with a teddy bear on the side table. And let's go take a look at the treasure of this theme, the piece that really sets it apart. This, and also as if you have any young children, this tricycle they would greatly enjoy. But this taxidermied dog here, and this doghouse, both stunningly well maintained. What could feel more classic than this? I'm so impressed. When we first discovered that taxidermied dog, it was in the basement of an old warehouse. My heart about jumped through my chest. I knew it would be perfect for this theme. But we're not done yet. We really went all out with this theme. We have a bathtub here. It's a non-functional piece. It's not connected to system, but it's lovely for show. And we also have an old world oven and grill here side by side. So you can really recollect back to Sunday barbecues before the bombs fell. And finally, we have our erotic theme again. And I must say, in a world where radiation exposure sometimes makes our most sensitive areas just fall right off, we all sometimes need a little help getting in the mood. That's the realization that helped me know there was a need for this decor theme. It's been very popular ever since we introduced it. The greatest review I got was from one of my clients who, the moment he walked in, said that he got harder than a suit of power armor. And that's all I'll say about that, but you can judge this decor's effect for yourself. As before, we have stocked the room with alcohol and jet. And of course we have this wonderful lamp again. Just so classy. Godfrey here is, of course, available at all times for helping you and your partners stay hydrated by dispensing purified water. He'll clean up the mess afterwards, and he can even join in if you'd like. We can upload a routine into him that I picked up from a place called Cerulean Robotics, way out in New Vegas. They somewhat bluntly call it the Sexbot programming routine. But blunt or not, it's not an inaccurate name, I suppose. I first encountered it with a Protectron model called Fisto. And let me tell you, a night with Fisto certainly makes an impression. Don't be put off by Mr. Handy's buzzsaw arm or flamethrower arm. I'm sure he can be very helpful. But now we've seen all that I have to offer for the moment. Did either of these homes seem right for you? I know that choosing a home in the wasteland is a major decision, and you're more than welcome to take a few days to think it over. No, you've already decided. Wonderful. And which home would you like to move into? Very nice choice. I think that it will serve you very well and make you very happy. So, the price there is 5,000 caps. Agreed. Wonderful. And did you decide if you wanted to purchase one of our decorative themes? Only 1,500 caps extra. Oh, good. And which theme will you be going with? A very nice choice. I thought you'd choose that one. You look like the type. Which I mean as a high compliment, of course. That's what I would choose as well. Well then, I'll have my assistant draft up the contract, and we can put pencil to paper before the sun goes down. Thank you so much for choosing Post-Nuclear Realty for your wasteland home needs. and I wish you nothing but the best in your new home. Thank you